So the emotional chords, what is that? I like to think of it as your soul's song. Like, what were you really put here to do? What life lessons are you a particular expert at? Right? Because those life lessons, once you identify them, you can approach any character from your soul song, right? The way you look is going to change your entire life. It's going to change, well, if you're a black woman, you're going to stay the same. You're going to be like 89 and still playing 30-year-olds. And going, but I can do more than this, right? So the outside is not a clear indicator of what you can play, especially now that everybody has Botox. Shoot, I'm about to get some Botox. Everybody got Botox. But I'm kind of like with Tina Turner. When things start to fall, I'm just going to go and have them move back to where they originally were. That's my thinking around plastic surgery. So, there you go. So, nothing's falling too badly yet, so I haven't planned on moving it. But, if you can then, like, freeze time and look the same, then should you still be cast based on how you look? You should be cast on what your soul knows, right? Because here's the thing about your soul song. It's not just, oh, I'm 35 now, so I know what it is to be a mom. It's far more specific than that. Your soul song are the fractures on your soul that you are healing. And they make you unique in the way that you approach a character, if you're looking at characters from that unique, complicated way, right? In the last video, I talked about going in trying to book, okay? When you go in trying to book, you are not working from the deepest places in your soul. As a result, at the end of the audition, you're working from the shallow places. What do they want? And let me look at that breakdown. And breakdowns are stereotypes for the most part. They aren't real complicated people. They are paying you to come in and fill in the complicated layers of this character and take the writer's intent and make that into something real and deep and unique, right? Because people who win Oscars don't win Oscars for playing stereotypes. They don't, right? And particularly in pilot season, when nobody has a real vision of what, hi Cynthia! When people don't have a real vision of what this new show is going to be yet, they are counting on your performance to inform the character and the storyline and the character's arc, right? I remember talking to Freddie Rodriguez, who plays the lawyer on Bull. I just did a guest star on there, and talking to him about his work on 6 Feet Under. And it was really fascinating because I was like, you know, the work that the couple that you played was so complicated and deep. I'd never seen a portrayal of a Latino young couple like that before. I mean, they're the most normal people and the most interesting on the show. And I said, how did that happen? And he said, well, the two actors playing it, they came in and they said, the writers said, so listen, we want your input. Tell us about who these people are. And he's like, and I started telling them about the soul of, you know, my marriage, right? As a young Puerto Rican who grew up in New York, who's now an actor. And all the complicated things that come with his past, you know, his mother's hopes, wishes, and dreams for him, his personal fears, you know, what it takes to move in a world that's so completely white, but your worldview is Latino and New York and the good boy that's done well and is pulling the family up, and all of the, you know, the lessons he learned from his fathers, those fractures in the soul of those patriarchal relationships that are passed down, and how he has to make sense of them in this new reality that he's in. It's a unique story, right? It's his soul song. So when you see the work on that show and that couple, and you're like, they're so unique, I feel so moved by them, and I've never seen that before. You've never seen that before because that character came from his soul. It came from his own personal story that he's profoundly in touch with. His approach to solving problems are not stereotypical. They're going to be unique because they come from his soul story, right? And that's what the emotional chords are about. So when you see an audition or you see a performance, you're like, they just left blood on the floor. It's because they rolled in with their soul song. They didn't roll in with, what do you think they want? Right? After I see an audition, if I don't know something deep or profound about your soul, it means you were going in there to book and you weren't acting from your deepest emotional chords. Okay? The performances that we remember are the performances where people are operating from their emotional chords. Right? The auditions that turn into jobs, and when I say an audition turns into a job, it may not be this one audition. This one audition you went in and people are like, wow, that was amazing. But the leading guy that you play opposite is 5 inches shorter than you, so you're not going to book it. Okay? But you left an impression because you were amazing. You weren't the backup, right? Oftentimes I've gone into an audition and people have said that was really amazing, and then I didn't get it, and I've seen that director later and they're like, you were great, but you gave us more required, and so we're like, we're going to save her for something bigger. That's a good thing, unless you want to play brown girl number 6 for the rest of your career, or if you want to play the black girl, the white girl's best friend. What is that? If you want a career doing that, then turn off this video now. But if you are going for the roles that show fully who you are as a human being, where you get to be a complete acrobat of the human condition, where you have a unique story about what loss means to you, and that's how you approach the character. When you have a unique story about what injustice against children means and how that triggers you, right? We have this phrase in pop culture now, being triggered. Well, different things trigger different people for different reasons, right? Whatever is triggering you comes from part of your story. And that story is your ancestral memory. What is the recurring story of the women in your family? If you don't know that, that's work you need to start doing. And that's what the emotional chords are about. It's about investigating all of the stories that made you who you are right now, the things that move your soul, the things that you are uniquely qualified to play, that nobody else is going to play that way. No one. No one. Because you bring something profoundly human to the role. And so for the next few Sundays in December, I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about these emotional chords. And if you signed up for the Dreaming Out Loud technique, you should have done the exercises by now. So if you haven't done the exercises, and I know you haven't done the exercises because the exercises have a workbook attached. It's completely free. You fill out the workbook, you send me your homework. By the time we get to the third one, if I have all of your workbooks, and it should be about 6 different workbooks, you should be ready to have a conversation with me and take a class for free. Now I only have a couple people who've done that so far. I have a ton of people who've given me one worksheet or this worksheet. And it's like, I'm giving you all this stuff for free that come January 5th, I'm charging you $1,000 for. So you could be learning the emotional chords right now for free. Or you can wait until January 5th and pay me $1,000 and I'll teach it to you then. Choice is yours. But this stuff is gold. It's gold. It will change how you approach your career. In the last video, I talked about Angela Lewis, who's now a series regular on Snowfall, Charisse Booth, who is currently starring in Fabulation off Broadway at the Signature Theater in New York, who, if you go to her Instagram page and you look at her pictures, there is a clear trajectory, there's a clear understanding of who she is, what her emotional type is. In her headshots, in her Instagram post, she is talking about what she believes in, what drives her as an artist, what drives her as a human being. She is clearly reflecting her emotional chords in her presentation and her branding. And the result is she's booking amazing, complicated roles that are often given to women much older than her. Right? That's magic. That's the power that you have. You're not going into the audition to give them what they want in the breakdown. You're going into the audition to inform them that this is the journey of a human being. And I understand it this way, and nobody else is going to understand it this way. Let me share this with you. And let me leave some blood on the floor and leave you a little wiser and a more compassionate human being, because I've shared a piece of my soul with you. That's the gift that people want to see. You want to be the actor that go, oh my gosh, we call her in, I can't wait to see her audition. You want to be the actor that when you're done, people are speechless because they're moved, because they learned something, because they shared something with you, because they saw a bit of the broken places in your soul, and they felt compassion and empathy and understanding and closeness. The thing that is completely missing in our culture right now. Compassion, empathy, walking in someone else's shoes. And what's required to create that exchange in the audition room is you understanding the vulnerable places and the fractures on your soul. And understanding how you're going about healing those things in this lifetime. How you were weaving that pain into light.